Hi everybody, Tony here, Big Gigantos, back again, ready to crack on with another review. Little short hiatus there for a little while. A couple of reasons really. One was for health reasons. I had a little short spell in hospital. Nothing too serious, but it's been and gone now. So everything's all fine. Also had a little bit of especially in the last month, I've had some dental treatment done. I just wanted to get all fixed where I smashed my face up that time, and anyway, it's almost all finished. But just got one bridge to put in this side, but that'll all be done sort of within the next month, and it'll all be finished. So it's quite expensive, I'll tell you. I mean, I think I'm quite lucky. I live in a country where the National Health Service is completely free. You don't have to have health insurance, anything like that. But we are lacking here in dental treatment. So everything you have here has to be paid for privately, and it's quite expensive. But it's all worth it. So a few more sessions and that'll all be finished as well. Also just a few family bits and pieces, usual stuff, plus work. I've been a lot busier at work as well recently. Recently got a more responsible job as well. With the same company, I've just sort of moved up a level really, which is quite good. Really pleased about that. So that's been keeping me busy. That's about it really. So I don't really like to drone on too much in these videos, especially these review videos, because the temptation is, now that I can do videos of more than 15 minutes, the temptation is to sort of ramble on incoherently about absolutely nothing. And my last two videos were a little bit long. I'm sorry about that. There's no need to make, especially the laser beacon buzzsaw Reaper label sticker upgrade review. That went on for almost, I think it was almost half an hour. I mean, there's no need for that really. So I'm going to try and keep these as short as possible, stick to the point, get done what I want to get done, and leave it at that. I meant to start last week with this, but I was in London last week. I was in Dagenham. I went up for the football, and God, you can tell there's going to be a royal wedding on this coming weekend. If you're going to London, for one thing, stay off the North Circular Road. Absolute waste of time. They've just dug the whole thing up from, I think it's almost near Richmond, right the way around to Tottenham. It's all right after that going around, but if you're looking at a clock from sort of 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock on the North Circular Road in London, don't bother with it. There's just nothing there. It's all a contraflow system. And people are coming out of their houses. They've got about 2 foot of pavement, then a great big cavity, a drop. You see, everything's all being done for this royal wedding and for next year for the Olympics. London has just got bits put up everywhere and stuff being dug up all over the place. Oh, it's terrible. But anyway, so that was last week. This week, now I've got together finally all my bits to do my Bruticus review, which I said I was going to do. That was going to be my next combiner review. I'm actually going to review him twice. Now there's a reason for that, and all will become clear in about 3 weeks' time when I review him again. Alright, so that's my little update done. Let's crack on and get the review done. This is G1 Bruticus. Okay, so here is Bruticus, split up into his 5 component parts, the Combaticons. Now they're all in their vehicle modes, all with their original rub signs. You can see Brawls there. Got them all in their vehicle modes with their extra parts. The only 2 people that are extra parts in vehicle mode are Blast Off and Brawl, with the leader Onslaught at the back there. So we're going to look at them all individually, transform them, and then show you Bruticus at the end. So we'll start off with Vortex first. He's the helicopter. Now he's my least favourite, which is why I thought I'd do him first to get him out of the way. His helicopter mode isn't too bad, right? I don't mind that at all. It's his bot mode that lets him down a little bit. But here he is complete. Obviously these bits will all come off. We'll take that off. Now, the trouble with these guns is they hide that Decepticon insignia, which I think looks quite nice. But they hide that. I don't think there's any need for these bright yellow stickers up here. I think when I get another one, I'm going to have one and take those off because they just look out of place. Okay, so that's his helicopter mode. Now to transform him, there's one error that people make with this guy, which I'll show you in a sec. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to pull this back piece out like that. And you can see in there that reveals his head. Now what needs to happen is these need to be split up like that. Okay, then just pull down to the side there and there. Right, just turn him over, and you can see that reveals his body and his head. Now just take these parts, fold them underneath there, put them down by sides, and they form as ridiculous little arms. Okay, now what needs to happen on the back is this whole section needs to swing. You can see there's a screw there. The blade section needs to swing 180 degrees right round to there, like that. It just brings it up near his head, which looks a lot better. And then for the legs, what we do is we just pull this section out like that and just spin them both round 180 like that, and that forms his legs. Okay, now the mistake a lot of people make with this is they think that's him done. They stand him up, and as you can see, he's a little bit top heavy, and that's because people forget to do this. Underneath here you see this little gap. Take this whole section and slide it down like that. Okay, and that makes him a lot more balanced. Okay, so that's him in bot mode. Now you can reattach these to the sides, which were on him in his helicopter mode. Oh, come here, Vortex. There you go. Alright, but I just think that looks stupid. Right, so I prefer to leave those off. You can though. His gun that was on the front of him in helicopter mode can be reattached in bot mode, but only on his right arm. You'll see there's that little hole on the side there. Which one is it? Just that one there, and that will attach into that little peg that you see there. So you just bring this up, turn around. Come on, nothing ever works when I point the camera at it. There we go. Right, so that's him in his bot mode. All right, and you put the blades like that. I prefer to put them like that, so you can see two of them. All right. Again, it doesn't look too bad, but I just think his legs just look a little bit awkward. Obviously, there's no separation there, and you can't really do anything with his arms, or indeed any part of him really. But again, I think he's the worst one. But that is Vortex. So since we started with my least favourite of the group, I thought I'd do the next one on my actual favourite, and it's this guy. This is Blast Off. I like him because he's sort of the odd one out of the group. You saw when they were all in vehicle modes, they're all called the Combaticons. They all resemble combat vehicles of some type. We've got a helicopter, a jeep, a tank, an anti-aircraft missile carrier, and a space shuttle. Now, why they didn't make this guy some sort of fighter jet or something, I have no idea. But he's a space shuttle, which isn't really what you'd associate with combat vehicles. So, but because he's the odd one out, I like him, and I like this character in the show as well. Okay, so you can see here on him in vehicle mode, he's got these two missile things at the side, which can come off, because I don't really like them on there, to be honest with you. I'll just put them on so you can see. Right, so that's him in a space shuttle mode, and you can see instead of being white, they've made him sort of a combat vehicle green. I'm not sure what colour you call that. It's certainly not a brown. I don't think it really is a green. I'm not sure what colour that is, to be quite honest, the main colour. But he's got these nice pink stripes on the wings, Decepticon symbol either side of his rudder or tail fin. Okay, so to transform him is very simple. First of all, you just fold up all the wings like that, and then this whole back section comes down, alright, and that will form his legs. Then with the top section, same as Vortex really, you just pull that and then split. Alright, except this is going to be the top half of him. You can see his head's under there. Alright, so then you just pull these down again. The bot mode isn't fantastic, and you just turn these the ends of the nose cone around, and these are supposed to be his hands, which are the most ridiculous hands you've ever seen in your life. But you know how Hasbro roll. Okay, now we can put these things back on him in bot mode. I think he looks a lot better with all this stuff displayed. Just attach these little things here on the side like that. You can put them, of course, the other way around, but it just means that they're a little bit higher up. I prefer to have them closer to the bottom, so I'll display them this way. And then he's got his handgun here, which is a nice little handgun, and attach that. I prefer to put it in his right hand, and that's him in robot mode. Now I have the problem with this figure is, especially with mine, if I let him go, that keeps happening. I cannot seem to get these to stay up. Not on this one anyway. I have a few blast offs, but for some reason I've chosen the one which his legs will not stay up. You can get it if you just balance it right. I bet it's not going to do it today. No, it's not going to do it. This is totally loose. I've tried to tighten up these screws, but I think the mechanism which keeps this up like that is in there somewhere, and I can't for the life of me. Actually, no, it's not in there because that's a solid piece. It's definitely in this bottom section somewhere, but I can't seem to get it to stay up. Alright, so I'll just hold him like that for a minute. Okay, and that is Blast Off. So the next one is Brawl. He is a Leopard tank. I know what type of tank he is. I'm not sure the number. I think it's Leopard 1 or Leopard 2, something like that. But it's a World War II tank. Obviously the Combaticons were derived from World War II vehicles, as was seen in the show. Nice movable turret, does swing 180, but for this little thing on the back, which can be detached. Lets that swing all the way around. The trouble I wish it did have was that you could move the turret up and down, but it's just stuck like it is. It has to stay there. There's nothing else that can be done with that. Again, brilliant alt mode. Bot mode lets him down a little bit, but we have to remember these things serve a higher purpose, especially these smaller limb bots. Okay, so what to do first of all is that needs to come up there. Okay, it will pull apart ever so slightly like that. Swing this whole back section out. Okay, now this is quite clever. Front section comes forward and swings down. You can see there that just reveals enough room for his head, like that, and then we just stand him up. Okay, and then these front bits here just swing down further. They become his arms, and then just push that back in, like that. That only comes out to allow clearance for the transformation, that's all. Okay, so that's his bot mode. Again, very simple. Okay, this will not reattach on him in bot mode, but he does have a little handgun. Alright, you just pop that in one of his hands. Usually always put weapons in the right hand. Okay, now of course you can keep that on him in tank mode, but he's not supposed to be displayed like that, and it looks a little bit awkward unless you've got two of them. Okay, again, not the best bot mode, but the vehicle mode is very good. So that is Brawl. So now out of the 4 limb bots, I think we come to the highlight or the star of the show, as I suppose most people would think, because many people's favourite Combaticon is Swindle. Not sure why, he was never my favourite character. I guess he had a little bit more exposure in the original show than all the other 4 did, really, even more so than his combined form of Bruticus, really. He had one episode to himself. I think it was right near the end of series 2. I think it was called Bolt, where Bruticus gets destroyed in battle. The only one that survives out of the Combaticons was Swindle, and he then takes the parts of all the other Combaticons, sells them off. Obviously, a name like Swindle, he's kind of like the Del Boy of the Decepticons, really. He goes and sells the Combaticons parts. Megatron orders him to go and get them all back so he can have Bruticus again, and anyway, that's how the story goes. He eventually manages it, but the episode is really revolved around Swindle. And of course in Transformers Animated there was an animated Swindle. Without the other Combaticons, he was just a standalone character, pretty much with the same persona, really, kind of wheeler dealer type guy. But I guess for that reason he is most people's favourite. Even in series 3 of the original Transformers series, there was one episode where, I can't remember what it's called, The Ultimate Weapon, that's what it's called, where again he plays a pivotal role and even challenges Galvatron on one occasion, although it doesn't do him any favours. But again, he seems to be the standout character of the entire group, even more so than the leader Onslaught, who's coming after this guy. But anyway, let's get on with the toy and the transformation. All this section here comes off. Here's obviously some sort of an army jeep. Now you see the stickers on him aren't quite as good as on the others. I have got a set from Repo Labels to do all the other guys, but I didn't put them on this guy. I did have a 4th Swindle. I've actually got 3 of these now, but I did have 4, which did have the Repo Labels new set on it. But I sold that one. I can't remember why I did it. There was some reason why I did it. But anyway, the transformation on him is pretty simple. You can see he's got quite a nice little bit of detail there. He's got the seats. Okay, this windscreen bit will fold back, and this comes back all the way there, and you can see there's his head. Back section again, pulls out, flip these two round like that. Now at least this guy has some more convincing arms, because you just pull these out and turn them that way. The only problem is the joint is right in the middle, so half of his arm is sort of back here, so really his arms are only that length. The joint is all the way down here. It would have been nice if you could have slid this forward and moved the whole thing up. Would have been a bit better, but again, this was back in the day. They just wanted to get the stuff out, and these smaller robots have a higher purpose, which is really why you buy it. Alright, so let's just take that. These will come apart, and as in the show, they will separate. The smaller one becomes his handgun, and this one, when you see him on the show, is actually supposed to attach to his arm. So he has a Megatron type fusion cannon. It's supposed to actually attach to his arm. I wish they'd have stuck with that. Although, again, like I've said before, the toys came along first, the animations came along afterwards. The animators obviously thought it was a good idea to give him a cannon that attached to his arm, but nevertheless, in the toy mode, he ends up having to hold it, which looks a little bit ridiculous because it's too big for him, really. You know, it's almost as tall as he is. Now, there are different versions of Swindle you can buy. There's this version, which you can see, which on the front has a grey plastic chest. You can also get another version which has a purple chest, but this one is die-cast metal. You can see it's got just a few little chips on it, nothing too bad. I actually prefer this version. The only trouble is the stickers, when you get them, are exactly the same as these, and they have blue highlights, which I've put on a purple one before, and it looks kind of ridiculous. So with the purple chested Swindle, the metal chest version, I prefer to have no stickers on it, but I do think it looks more Swindle-esque if you have the purple on. But I've got two purple variants, this one, another one, and this one. So I've actually got 3 Swindles. The idea is obviously to be able to display the Combaticons in all 3 modes: robots, bots, vehicle modes, and Bruticus. But if you only get one Swindle, get this one, because it is the better version, I think. So that is Swindle. And we finish with the leader, Onslaught. Sorry, this is turning out to be a bit of a long review again. I'll try and get through it as quick as I can so it doesn't drag on for too long. Okay, here is Onslaught, the leader, with all of the parts that come with him. Obviously we've got 2 foot plates, 2 fists, chest plate and head of Bruticus, which we won't need till the combined form, so I'll get rid of those right now. So all we're left with is this ramp, this chest piece, and this gun here. So we're going to use those now and attach them to him in his various forms, because he has 4 officially but 5 modes. Okay, so we'll get on and crack on with those now. Now I've heard 2 different versions of what this vehicle form actually is. Some people say it's a missile trailer, which means when you remove this, you could carry some sort of huge missile on the back of that. And obviously it does have the added articulation of being able to do that, because let's be honest, you could just steer it if it was like that, could you? It would need to sort of have that effect, a bit like a bendy bus. Alright, the other one is anti-aircraft truck, because with this attached, that does look like some kind of anti-aircraft missile launcher. Alright, so there are 2 different versions of what the vehicle mode actually is. I actually have no idea. I've never been in the armed forces in Britain or anywhere else, but I don't ever recall seeing anything like this on TV or anything really. Somebody who's been in the armed forces, you might have an idea of what that actually is. I have no idea. But anyway, that's mode 1. Okay, that's his first alt mode. Second one is, he has kind of almost what you'd call like a base, really. So let's just take this off. Okay, we'll split this up here, like that, pull them out, push right up to there, and then lock into the side like that. Again, same with this side, lock into the side like that. Okay, now the front here, split that, pull right the way around, Now you can see his head under there. Alright, so we're just going to leave that like that. Now we'll take this part again, pull that all the way to the back, like that. Okay, now you can see under here there's this little square shape. Now that's designed to fit directly over the back of his head, like that. So you get this, alright. Now we're almost done. Now we take this little ramp piece here, and you can see there's a little oblong shaped peg on the top there. That will fit into that hole there. Put it down. Okay, and that's supposed to be mode 2. That doesn't look like any type of official vehicle. I have no idea what indeed that is supposed to be, but you can indeed then just change Swindle back to a Jeep. You can put Swindle up there. He will roll down there just nicely, and Brawl will also fit on top of there as well. Okay. Now, if you look on the back here, these two little bits are covered up. Now, I've seen versions of this on some knockoffs where this bit used to be a pullback switch in there. You'd pull this back, let go, and it would move something that would have been in there. There was some kind of mechanism in here, some kind of launch mechanism that you pull back there, let go, something would protrude out of here and move forward, which would propel the vehicle off. Obviously, Hasbro decided not to go with that, took out the mechanism and just filled in these bits and left them blank. Alright, so that will not work in the Combaticon, the official Combaticon mode. Alright, so that's mode 2. I'm going to show you mode 3, which is kind of an unofficial mode really. Right, so we're just going to leave that in. But what we're going to do is we're going to tip it back just enough so that it sticks up at an angle like that, so it's almost straight. So that's as good as I'm going to get that. Now what you do is turn it this way, pull out these bits again, move them to the side, and push. Oops, sorry. Move the arms up to there for a minute. Right. Pull that all the way up to the side, push in. Again, pull this all the way up to the side, push in. And then these bits here, you just kind of turn upwards like that. Alright. And then leave that there. Then what you've got there is some kind of a base mode really, which almost looks a little bit like G1 Scorponok. Almost. Okay, so you've almost got a base mode there. That's just something I came up with. That's not actually an official mode, but that is, to me, mode number 3. Excuse me, bit of a cold. Okay, mode number 4 is obviously going to be his bot mode, with mode 5 being the combined form for the Gestalt robot, which is Bruticus. Okay, so let's take that off. Let's turn him into a robot. Let's get rid of this ramp. Now we need to turn this up because he gets quite tall. Okay, so we're left with this, and you can see now he's practically almost there. Alright, so what we're going to do is just pull these down to there, like that. Pull that out so it locks. Turn this bit up, like that. Same on this side. So pull that out till it locks. Turn that up there. Okay, and that's him just about done. These bits here, there are tabs on the side, which you just pull forward a little bit, and then I use that to pull it out. You'll notice on some of these that they have bite marks there, because when these are brand new, or remember when they were brand new, they were very stiff to pull the hands out. Luckily on mine they're quite good. Alright, so that's him in his bot mode, but he's not quite finished. A few more accessories to put on. And we're left with, oops, almost forgot, this bit here stays on his back. Alright, let's turn that around. He's a little bit floppy, this one. Okay, that's him there. Now, two of the bits, he comes with this little chest panel, which goes on there, and this lovely long, it's not really a gun, I guess you'd say it's a rifle. Okay, so we'll just put that in his hand, and that is Onslaught in robot mode. One of the better of the 4 Gestalt leaders. When I say the 4 Gestalt leaders, I mean the originals from the original series. You've got Onslaught, who is definitely better than Motormaster. I'd say Hotspot's pretty good, but Silverbolt isn't all that. But out of the four, I'd say he's the best one. Okay, his legs will only move out to the side, unfortunately. But I just think he looks the most imposing, and you can turn his head as well. He almost has a kind of sound wave look about him, really. But that's his bot mode. Incidentally, you can get different versions of this, slightly different, and I'll show you what I mean. You notice on this is all kind of a very light or dullish grey. As I said, I have got more than one version of Onslaught, and the other version I have, I'm not sure too well this is going to come up on the camera, but you can see that's a slightly darker, more chromed up version here. It's got a slight more shine to it. So there are two different versions you can get. Alright, but that is Onslaught. I'll finish with him in his bot mode like that. Okay, again, it's had a little bit floppy, this one, but he's in good condition and he's nothing broken on him, which is always a plus. So I'll do that, turn his head to face you. So that is the leader of the group, that is Onslaught. So just before we go and combine them, I thought I'd put them all together in robot mode, and you can see that Onslaught is so big, he absolutely towers above the other four. Especially when you take into account his shoulder cannon, he really is very tall. Very tall transformer for a G1 Onslaught. Okay, so that's all four of them in their bot modes. We've got Brawl, Blast Off. You can see I've cheated, I've put something underneath there to keep him upright. Onslaught Leader, Swindle, and Vortex. So now we're going to go ahead and combine them all for you. Right, so here they are stripped down to their bare bones, which is where they need to be. We're not going to need this ramp anymore or any of their weapons, so I've taken those off. All we're going to need is the chest plate, 2 foot pieces, 2 fists, and the head. Alright, so obviously I've stripped them down to their bare bones. Oops, I've forgotten that piece. That chest piece on Onslaught has to come off as well. I'm not going to need that anymore. We will leave his shoulder cannon on the back though. Right, so what we're going to do first, we'll change the arms first of all, so let's get Blast Off here. Alright, what you almost have to do is turn him back into a space shuttle, almost. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to close those up, push that in. Okay, push this section back in. We're going to leave all the wings folded up as they are, alright? And then on the back of here, what we're going to do, we're going to get the right fist and plug it into that hole there. Okay, now just unplug that. See this little peg here? Swing that out like that, close up. Okay, now that is the right arm. So we'll put him to one side. We'll take Vortex because he is the left arm. Now he almost has to go back into a helicopter. Again, it's sort of a half and half mode with him. But we've changed the top half back into a helicopter. So we'll fold up the arms like that, push that down. We'll leave that up where it is, alright? We're not going to swing this around to there. We're going to leave that whole section up there where it is. Turn all this stuff here, the tail at the top, put that back over. And his little peg is on the front of his chest there. Pull that out like that. And then with these, just pull them forward ever so slightly, like that. So you've got that. Push them up and then put them back in. So you're basically just shortening his legs to that. Alright, now on this side we're going to put the left fist, and you can put it in the top one there so that it's at the front. If you put it in the other one, it's too near the back and he won't be able to hold his gun. Alright, so put it there like that, and that is the left arm. Now we're going to do the legs. So we'll do Swindle first. His is really simple. Okay, just fold the arms into the side like that, push down, and that's him done. Very simple, huh? But I'm not going to use him. I'm going to use the purple chested Swindle for him. So from Jeep mode, all you need to do is take that out, swing these around, push in like that, alright, and then just fold the little canopy over like that and swing over. Okay, so we've essentially got the same thing, but I'm going to use this version because I think it looks better than the grey one. I'm going to attach the right. You can see it's got an R on the back of it there. I'm not sure if you can see that. Don't think that's going to come through. No, but there's a letter R there. Okay, he's got 2 holes on the bottom. I'm going to plug it into that one so that it sits dead in the centre like that. And he's going to be the right leg. Now with Brawl, he's a little bit more complicated. Now there's a little flaw with this guy, which I'll show you when we actually combine him. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull, see, we need to pull that out again, just to give us some clearance. All we're going to do is move the arms up to there, swing the legs right the way around like that, and then this piece goes in like that. Okay, now here's the left leg, and as such you attach the left foot plate to him. So we're going to attach it there like that. Now you can see that that's not quite central. Well, that's not quite done right. There's a great big gap here. Alright. Where it ideally needs to be is there. Alright, but anyway, we'll leave him like that for the minute, because that's how he's supposed to be done, like that. Alright, so he's the left leg. Now we get to Onslaught. Okay, so let's go to his 5th mode, or his 4th official mode. First of all, fists up like that, and they'll stay there, no bother. Alright, now this does have a habit of becoming loose. So what I'm going to do, just for the ease of transferring, I'm just going to take that off for the minute. It will go back on there afterwards. Alright, now what we're going to do is, we're going to take the legs and push them up to there, and then like that. So you're going to have them in the same position as we had for that mode with the ramp on it. Okay, so you're going to get the legs in exactly that same position. Alright, so that's where they're going to go. Now this is where a lot of people make a mistake with Bruticus, and I've even seen other reviewers do it. When we get to doing the chest plate here, and what's supposed to happen is this little hook on the underside of it, just there, is meant to go just under there, and as we swing it up, this peg here will go into the hole on his chest, which is why we have to take the robot chest plate off. And that goes onto there, like that. Now I've heard so many people say that happens. My Bruticus chest plate, why won't it stay on? It keeps falling off. Every time I try and move the arms of Bruticus, his chest plate falls off. That's because you are not reading the instructions. Alright? Sorry to sound a little bit pedantic there, but when I see people doing this, I think, oh, it's one of those things that really grinds me when I see people doing it. That's because you are not moving the arms to the correct place. They go here, like that. And then you will notice, you see on the back of the chest plate, there are these two, just have to get it at the right angle so you can see it. There's one of these pieces here, there you can see it, there's one there, and there's another one just there. That is so when you put the chest plate on, okay, so let's start again, let's put it under there, swing it round. Oops, I've got that a bit too low. There we go. Okay, when you push that on, you will see that fits in there now nice and tight, and those two little plastic bits that are in there, we'll keep those in that position there. And you can see that is a lot tighter now. And it also gives the body a bit more definition, because he now actually has a waist. And it also gives him now these shoulder blocks. Alright, if you put the arms down, watch what happens. Just watch here. Alright, if I put the arms down, see that happens? And again, that's because it's pushing that bit forwards. So again, I'll tip it forward. There. Because some people display them like that. There you go, and you see what happens. Alright, so arms back, people. Alright, chest plate on. There, that is nice and tight. That is not going to fall off. Alright, you can see that's gone in there nicely now. And it also raises the arms up a bit higher when you put Bruticus together. So let's just go and put on the head. There's the head, just goes over the top of Onslaught like that. See, his head turns nicely. Let's put on the cannons on at the back again. There we go. Right, so now let's just start putting him together. Now, where are we going? Brawl, Swindle, go there. So obviously they attach to the little ports with the heads going there underneath. There's Swindle. There's Brawl. Obviously his head has to be facing backwards because you want the turret at the front. Okay, that's how he's supposed to be displayed. Okay, so you can see I'm not going to have enough room here to actually get him all in, so I'm just going to adjust the camera a second. Okay, so you can see he's quite tall. I can't even get him within the realms of my little background box here. You're not seeing down the sides of it. Okay, so let's just get the arms now. Okay, here's Vortex. We'll attach him into the little peg on the side there. Which goes in there. And Blast Off will obviously go on the other side. Come here, like that. Okay, and then we just take Onslaught's big rifle like that. And he will hold that in one of his arms. I usually put it in the right arm. Okay, now that is Bruticus. Fully combined, transformed. And you can see he's so big, I cannot get him all completely in shot there. Alright, we'll have to just take that box away in a bit. But just to show you that the one flaw I have that is with Brawl. Now you remember I said the foot plate, when you look at them, it actually protrudes a little bit further forward. They didn't design this very well, I don't think. Now, when you stand him up, he wants to tip backwards, and that's because his foot has nothing at the back to kind of support it. Okay, so let me take the foot plate off. Okay, so at the minute that's where it is. Where it should be to me is there, and that would help it to balance a lot better. Now there is a way of getting around this, and that is if you take Brawl off, okay, and you turn him around the other way and then put him on. Okay, so you need to extend the turret backwards, put him on, okay, and then put the foot plate back on, but put it on that side. Okay, now that balances in perfectly, but then the problem is it's too far back. So he wasn't very well designed, I don't think, because of this. And obviously it just looks stupid if you have him that way around. Because for a start, this turret has to stay at the side. The only way to obviate that is to turn him round completely so that this bit here will cover it. In fact, I'm not even sure if that will work. Let's just turn him round like that. There, okay, so that's obviously what's supposed to happen there. That's meant to go like that. But again, it just looks a little bit silly to me. Alright, it does balance him a bit more, granted. But, I don't know, it just doesn't look right like that, I don't think. I mean, some people prefer to display him like that, I don't. I would rather, in fact, let me just put him down there like that. I would rather just have him displayed like that, with the turret at the front, just because I think it looks a lot better. Put him back in. Okay, now you can get him to balance. He will stay upright, but not very well. You see he wants a tip, and this is the only problem that I have with this combiner. It's a shame because he really does look the part, you know, and it's just a shame that you can't get him to sort of balance properly, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to get rid of this back box and put him backwards a bit so you can see him a bit better. Actually, I'll just show you really quick. You can see what happens when you've got this down here as opposed to the gap there. You can see it just kind of looks a little bit daft because the arms are a lot more lower down than they are with the Onslaught's arms up here, as they should be. You can just see it looks a lot more defined and a lot better with the gap there. So you've actually got a body section as opposed to looking like a brick. So that's again why these should be up here. So to counteract that problem I had before, what I tend to do is just take the foot plate off and just balance him like that. And that looks a lot better, and it does actually mean you can stand him up properly. So we'll just pan across here, or up, and you can see now that he very much does look the bee's knees. Okay, again, make sure you display these bits properly so you've got the gap in here, like that. Looks an awful lot better. Looks much more defined now. So that is my review done of Generation 1 Bruticus. Hope you liked it, guys. I'll catch you again very soon with the next review. Goodbye.